Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to DFS Zone. It's Manny here once again. We're going to go over today's WNBA slate. We have a 3-game slate today. I'm going to give you 3 or 4 picks to hopefully help you out with your lineups, man. But before I get started, like always, I appreciate you guys. Drop a like, comment down below, give me your thoughts on today's matchups, especially that Seattle-Vegas game is going to be a heck of a game. Look forward to taking a look at that one later. Other than that, man, make sure that if you have not, as of yet, subscribe and become a part of the community here. Make sure you do so down below before you go. And don't forget to put on your post notifications, that bell icon. Turn it on so this way you don't miss out on any of my WNBA picks videos in the near future. All right, so three gamer today. Obviously, the game of the day and the one I'm looking most forward to is the Seattle-Vegas game. I mean, Chicago's playing Connecticut at 2, Seattle and Vegas at Las Vegas at 4 p.m., and then you got the 6 p.m. game, LA at Phoenix. I'm going to be totally honest with you, man. I've made my selections today all based on that Seattle-Vegas game. There's the 2 highest scoring teams. There's the 2 teams that are the better teams in the league. They're also the highest paced teams as well. They basically play at a really fast pace, and that obviously opens up the doors for more for the potential of more fantasy points, and that's what we're looking for when we play daily fantasy sports. So my whole mindset today is I was looking at all 3 games really closely this morning, and I'm saying to myself, man, I really think that today is the day to go with Seattle and Vegas. And if you're looking to stack a game, that's probably the game to stack as well. Getting 2 or 3 players from that actual game is probably a good way to go today. But at the same time, hey, you know what? There's probably going to be some people that are going to be focusing a lot on that game. So maybe that's where you need to be a little bit different. I'm going to make about 5 lineups today. About 3 of them are going to be really settling in and really focusing on this game. And then, of course, 1 or 2 lineups will have some players from the other matchups today. But I'm not going to bore you, because I don't want to make the videos long. That first video, I came back for the first time the other day, and I'm like, whoa, my video is 45 minutes long. I can really just talk my ass off. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to bore you guys. I don't want, people just watching a video for 5 or 6 minutes when it's 45 minutes long. It doesn't make no sense for me to make a 45-minute video. So I'm going to try to focus on making these videos, 10 to 12, 15 minutes or less on a regular basis. So we're just going to get right to it, man. So when we look at today's matchup, like I said, I am focusing on the Seattle-Vegas game, and I'm basically going to give you 3 or 4 picks. I'm going to actually give you 4 picks, I think, out of this game that you guys should be able to, get an idea, take a look at, and you decide for yourself if you really want to. You always got to do your due diligence as well. Remember, the games are all probabilities. You just don't know what's going to happen. You go with the statistics, you go with the matchups, you go with who may have the better possibility or probability to score and put up fantasy points, and then you just let the chips fall where they may. It's not guaranteed that you're going to win all the time, but you want to be able to put the best possible lineups you can that you can create out of the information you get. So I'm going to try to give you some information. Hopefully that helps, and just basically what I think is the matchup today. So first at guard, my first guard at the top, man, the one that really stands out to me at the very beginning would be Vandersloot, but I am not going to play either Vandersloot, Diggins Smith, or Bond. I'm not going to give you guys any one of those. I do think Jewel Lloyd is definitely someone to consider in the matchup between Seattle and Vegas today, but I'm actually going to stay in that game, like I said, and I'm going to go with Jackie Young as the first selection for me today. I do like Jackie Young in this matchup. As you can see here, she is at 6,400. She is good for 4X. I think she's very good for 4X today. That's about 24, 25. She's averaging 27, but she does have 5X and 6X upside. So she can very easily come in here and get 30 to 35 in this matchup. But I'm going to go over her numbers. She's averaging 13 points per game, 4 rebounds, nearly 3 assists, 27 fantasy points per game. And if we look at her game log, last game out, 24 minutes, not obviously the best game for her, but 25-31 the prior 2 games. So as you can see, she has that 5X and that 6X upside at this price. She also has 7X upside. As you can see here, she was able to put a 43 here. Her numbers are pretty good as far as minutes are concerned. She does a little bit of everything. This is what I do like, and if you've been with me long enough, I'm always going to preach. Get those players, especially in WNBA, that are scrappy and are able to get you some steals, possibly some blocks, and is also capable of getting you assists, rebounds, and actually can score as well. And Jackie Young is able to do all that. Her splits have been fantastic. If I look at her splits at home, she's playing 30 minutes a game, 46% shooting percentage from the floor, 85% from the free throw stripe. She has not hit a 3 yet, but she hasn't taken a 3 at home. 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.5 steals per game, averaging 22 fantasy points per game. But the big number here, and what has intrigued me the most, is that the 2 games earlier in the year that she played against Vegas, she stepped up and she played a number of minutes versus Seattle. I said Vegas before. Versus Seattle, 32 minutes on average per game during those 2 games, 41% field goal percentage. Shot only 25% from 3, but was excellent from the free throw line. Got 10 opportunities, banged out all 10 free throws. Averaged 6.5 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.5 steals. Averaged 16 points per game versus Seattle, and on top of that, 33.6 fantasy points per game versus the Storm. So I think she's in an excellent position here. Again, they're going to need her to be very involved. She has been involved. She's playing more than 25 minutes a game. Her usage rate has been pretty good as well. I like Jackie Young here in this matchup. I think it's going to be a great high-paced, high-scoring game, and I think she has an opportunity to do well here, and that she's already proven. This is not a small sample size of 1 game or no games against Seattle. She's played them twice already, and she has had success, so I kind of like the idea of Jackie Young in this night. So she's going to be my first guard, and I'm going to stay in this with the same team and the same one of her teammates, and I'm going to go with Kelsey Plum. Kelsey Plum is averaging 13 points per game, pretty much almost nearing 3 rebounds a game, 3 assists, 22 fantasy points. If we go look at her game log, as of late, more so now as of late, her minutes have been up. 24-plus minutes in 3 straight games. She has had double-digit scoring, 15, 18, and 32. A big game against New York. She has 40-point upside at 5,100. I'm looking at 4X. That's 20 points. She's capable of getting you 5X at 25, capable of getting you 6X. So she has 6X upside, and she's been able to do that as of late. Now, granted, that was as of late, different teams, but she's playing against the Aces. But her numbers have been pretty good. Her splits at home, marvelous. 25 minutes per game so far this year, 52% field goal percentage, 53% from 3, shooting 93% from the free throw line, has had 15 opportunities, has banged out 14, 3.5 rebounds a game, 4 assists, 1.5 steals, 20 points per game at home, and 34 fantasy points per game on average. So she's been dynamite at home, and that's another thing that she's always has played fairly well at home. Versus Seattle, numbers are not spectacular, but the numbers based at home, I do like. Her Seattle numbers, 2 games, 42% field goal percentage, 37% from 3, which are both very good. 2 rebounds per game, 3.5 assists, 1 steal, averaging only just 10 points per game and 20 fantasy points per game. But I'm basing this more so on the matchup now and what she has done as of late, on top of that she has had a higher usage rate as of late, as well as more minutes on the floor. And remember, more minutes, possibly more usage rate, more opportunities for her to take shots, and of course more fantasy points, and as well as more peripherals, with her being a pretty decent defender and getting steals. So I like KP here. Kelsey Plum is in play for me, so I'm going to add her there. I think right there, you still got 5,700. I'm going to stay in the same game, and I'm going to choose 2 players for the Seattle team. And the very first one, obviously, off the bat, is Breanna Stewart. Breanna Stewart has been absolutely an animal. She is averaging almost 21 points per game, 10 rebounds, 2.5 to almost 3 assists per game, 44 fantasy points per game, 9,200. That's about where she should be at. That's 5X. That's 45. She is capable of up to 6 or 7X upside, so she could be very, very dangerous. Her game log, as of late, over 31 minutes a game, 31, 32, 32, and double digits, of course, and she's had 2 double-doubles over the course of 3 games. Again, that was against Indiana, was one of the worst teams in the league, actually the worst team in the league. And then you have her with a fantasy point total 43 plus in 4 straight games, and as like I said, she is capable of getting you 50 plus. She has had very good numbers as well versus the Aces, and she has she's away. Her away splits right now, 7 games, 33 minutes per game, 47% field goal percentage, 35% from 3, averaging 11 rebounds a game, 3.5 assists, 1.5 blocks, 44.7 fantasy points per game. This is all away from home. Versus the Aces, 2 solid games, 47%. Field goal percentage, 33% from 3, 92% from the foul line, 12 rebounds per game, which is above her average of 10. And she's averaging 1.5 blocks, 27 points per game from the floor, and 49.5, nearly 50 fantasy points per game on average in 2 games against the Aces this year. So Breanna Stewart, if she has the game she's capable of, Seattle will be in this game. If she does not perform well, again, probabilities. This is why you play the games, because you just never know. That's the beauty of sports. You know, the whole Davy versus Goliath, the whole, you just don't know what's going to happen until the game is played. So Breanna Stewart, numbers show that she's done well against the Aces. I expect that to continue today. I think she's an excellent pick. If you're going to pay up for anybody, I think she's the one you got to pay up for. So I'm going to take Breanna Stewart in the matchup because I believe this is the game that you should be targeting. 4,800 still left here. Then you got to get some sort of value out of this game. And the value play for me is going to be all the way down here at the bottom. And it's going to be Magbegor. Magbegor is not, these numbers don't look pretty. As you can see, she's only averaging nearly 4 points a game, 3 rebounds, a half of assists, 11 fantasy points at 3,400. You're probably saying, why in the hell are you giving me this girl? Well, they're going to need her presence up front. You know, she is a big presence up front. She can block. She can defend. She can get some steals. She gets rebounds. And she can get the easy putback baskets. And she can get also those secondary opportunities for her offense. So, I mean, this is where she comes into play. Her numbers as of late, not great. As you can see, she's only been playing about 12 minutes on average, 11 minutes on average the last 3 games. But she's good for 1 fantasy point per minute, as you can see here. 12, 14. And like, she can put up points, she gets the rebounds, and of course she can get the steals and the blocks. That's what she brings to the table. Her numbers as of late haven't been that great, but when you think about what she has done, and if I can get her information here, it will be great. And let's look at her numbers real quickly here at home, right? She's averaging 20 minutes per game. This is actually versus the Aces, sorry. The 2 games against the Aces earlier this year, she averaged 20 minutes per game, 50% field goal percentage, 66% from 3, 8.5 rebounds per game, 1.5 blocks, and a steal, 10 points, 28.6 fantasy points per game in those 2 games. And that's right down here, as you can see, a 37.6 and a 17.8. If she's able to get 14 to 15 minutes, 16 minutes, she could be one of those persons that can get you that 1 point per minute. If she plays more than that, she could probably get you 5x on this, maybe even 6x. Imagine getting 6x from her here. You're getting 18 to 20 fantasy points from her at this price tag. That it will not be bad at all. So I think Magbegor is someone to consider here at this price tag. At 3,400, you got to get somebody of value if you're going to take a Breanna Stewart like I am. I think these 4 core players are going to be the 4 players that I'm going to base my rest of my lineup with. And obviously, the other 3 players are going to be sprinkled among the other 2 games. And then, like I said, I'm going to do 5 lineups. I think these are 4 excellent plays for you guys. Hey, you let me know what you think down below. Other than that, if I was to choose any other players, like I said, I think Vandersloot's in a good spot. Lloyd in the same matchup is not bad. When you come down here, you always got to consider Sykes or even Gray. If you're going for the lower half, if you're not going with Plum, then you got to consider, I guess, Kia Nurse for sure. Other than that, Katie Lou Samuelson, if she may get some minutes, she could be someone here in this matchup against Seattle, against the Aces at 4,100 who could possibly get you 3 or 4x. And I would think that's about it. At forward, obviously, if you're not on Stewart, you got to consider one of the other Aces girls, either Wilson or Cam Page. I think you can go either one of those 2. Jones here is not in a bad spot as well for Connecticut. She's someone that I'm keeping my eye on. Hamby and Zooey B are definitely in play at that 5,400 and 5,700 here. And you can't fall asleep on Ruthie Hubbard as well. Other than that, that's it. I mean, and other than that, and Magbegor are the only ones that I would consider at this lower price tag. Maybe a Megan Walker if she plays more than enough minutes, but she's at 4,200. I would definitely will be with Magbegor more so than I will be with her. And that's where I stand. I think those are the key ones. So I mentioned a few other girls there that I'm targeting. I think these are the 4 here, man. Drop a like. Let me know what you think down below. Comment down below, as well as, hey, if you have not subscribed as of yet to the channel, make sure you subscribe. And don't forget to put on your post notifications. And I'll see you guys on the next 3 gamer. All right, man? Good luck tonight. Peace out.